Hey, before we get started, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. It's your boy K.A. every day.
K.A.
And I got my co-host with me, P Fever, a.k.a. Mr. Nobody. And this is the Shut Up Already podcast.
You know it. Shut Up Already podcast, episode 1.
But before we go any further, I would like to thank King Neppy for the fresh gear.
Shout out to King Neppy, the whole King Neppy team over there.
Hey, and here at Shut Up Already podcast, we discuss everything dealing with sports. And if we taking care of all the other business, let's get right to it. So my last question for you today. So how do you feel about the touchdown celebrations this year in the NFL?
I feel as I never really was a fan of any kind of penalty for a celebration. I mean, you fought all the way down the field. You should, what are we just going to, in the heat of the moment, just walk away and go sit on the bench? You're going to be excited. It's a natural reaction. I don't think there should be any fines for any kind of celebration unless it's total disrespect to the other team. But if it's just, hey, we got a touchdown, blah, 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 what's the big deal?
Well, obviously the NFL thought it was a big deal because in years past, they used to have strict rules against touchdown celebrations. Those are all these things that you weren't allowed to do, and if you did them, you would get fined for them. Well, this year they decided to try to relax the rules, and they said the teams could have even choreographed celebrations with the team or by themselves, and they could use the football as a prop. But anything else that you use as a prop, you would still get fined and penalized for it. So that's the rule for this year. Yeah. So it made me think about Tyreek Hill. I thought this was kind of crazy. So this guy scores a touchdown, jumps into the crowd, gets behind one of those big cameras. The cameraman has to move out the way, and he's moving the thing around and acting like he's actually filming the game, but the NFL doesn't fine him for it.
Not $1.
Not even $1.
Wow.
Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I don't think I can confuse a camera for a football.
Absolutely.
So the camera should have been thought of as a prop, right?
Absolutely.
But they didn't fine him for it.
Okay.
But I thought it was kind of hypocritical because weeks before that, the receiver for the Saints, Thomas, he scored a touchdown and he recreated the celebration that Joe Horn did back in the early 2000s with the old flip phone. He reached under the the pylon, act like he was talking on the cell phone. They fined him $30,000 for that. That was an expensive phone call, right?
You ain't lying. I don't know who he was calling. Was he calling his mama?
He was reaching out to touch somebody.
You ain't lying. Come on now.
But even crazier than that is the cornerback for the Rams, Marcus Peters. He scored a touchdown in the game, and he recreated the Marshawn Lynch touchdown where he grabbed his crotch while diving backwards in the end zone, and he was only fined $13,000 for that.
Wow.
So I don't understand. So talking on a cell phone or acting like you're talking on a cell phone is worse than grabbing your crotch. Which one is more offensive?
Maybe he was trying to get a hot date. I mean, maybe somebody took that into consideration. Like, look, the guy's trying to woo somebody in the stands, so it's understandable.
Or maybe he just had an itch and he just had to,
hey,
it's a part of life.
Hey, that jock strap could have been uncomfortable coming down the field.
So that gets less than talking on a cell phone.
Wow.
I guess that's the world we live in.